It is with great pleasure that I present to you the Mighty Mojo re-release of the Angry Birds Commonwealth Toy Novelty Plushies. I've already made 2 videos discussing these at length, but at last I've finally got my hands on them thanks to Mighty Mojo themselves, who provided me with an advanced set to showcase for you. You can buy these directly off their website or through their Amazon distributors. Today, we'll compare these to the original set by Commonwealth from over a decade ago, and see what notable differences there are. To reiterate important information, this is a set of 8 plushies manufactured by Commonwealth themselves and distributed by Mighty Mojo. They're only being offered in 8-inch, with the exception being the Mighty Eagle, who is 12-inch, and are priced at $24.99 United States dollars. You'll have to dish out a few more sardines for the Eagle at $39.99. No in-person retail availability yet, though Mojo mentioned there's a possibility if sales exceed expectations. A direct follow-up wave with more characters is unlikely, though again, do not rule out the possibility. Now onto the comparison. It's well known that I primarily collect 5-inch variations, and the fact that these are 8-inch has been disappointing to some. I share that dissatisfaction, but I suspect the majority of consumers who want these are those who didn't get the chance to buy these back in the day. And for that purpose, these are great. Happy to report that these are well stuffed, just like they used to be, and overall appear to retain their intended shape during processing and handling. The CEO of Commonwealth mentioned that they utilize a different material supplier for these, and while they generally look and feel the same, they actually feel a bit more firm. The fabric texture is a bit thicker as well, at least on the birds, making these extremely soft to the touch. Honestly, it's difficult to tell that these were made nearly a decade after the originals, but there are ways to tell. My copies came in the good old plastic bags, which I desperately wanted to keep sealed, but that would hinder your viewing experience, and I'm sure Mighty Mojo would not appreciate that. Let's start with Red, a character that no doubt will be a popular choice solely because he's the face of the franchise. Notably, he has some minor changes concentrated in his face. His signature eyebrows have been adjusted to be slightly narrower at Rovio's request, which in my opinion actually looks worse than the original. It's a small change, but at certain angles it's rather obvious. As we know, Blue and Chuck utilize their cross-eye designs, which are objectively better than the first generation designs. Of course, I'll forever have nostalgia for the originals, but I'm glad Commonwealth opted to reuse these patterns. Though on second thought, it would be kinda cool to see both patterns offered for the sake of it. This of course means that the blues feature 2 tail feathers and Chuck's underbelly is completely white, both details that are more faithful to the source material. Looking at Bomb, I don't see anything that appears to be different. Many will be disappointed that he doesn't have the white spot, but that's a detail that was done away with long ago. Still though, that's a detail I'd like to see, considering these are called the OG classic plushies. Stella, again, is identical to the original as far as I can tell. We've seen a few different Commonwealth Stella designs in the past, but of course here we see the most iconic pattern from its original release. Head and tail feathers are still pliable, though no wires like we've seen from some in the past. Something must have changed with the Minion Pig pattern, because despite bearing resemblance to the original, it's almost perfectly spherical this time around. I bring your attention to his forehead. Notice how much larger the area is compared to a typical Commonwealth Minion Pig plush. Same goes for the side angle, where the width and height figures appear to have nearly flipped. I'll leave it to you to decide whether this was an improvement, but I'm curious as to why this happened in the first place. As for Mustache Pig, I'm hard pressed to say anything remarkable about this one. This one appears to be identical to the original, which every time I say it, mind you, is a good thing. This means we're still working with the pre-chrome design here, so his eyebrows are still white as opposed to orange. If you're planning on buying any of these, I highly recommend you go for the Mighty Eagle. Even if you have the original, which granted many do not, you have to buy this one. Just fits so much better within collections. And mind you, it's still a genuine Commonwealth product. Honestly, it's not really a 12-inch, just like how the original wasn't actually a 28-inch. Those measurements take his beak into account, unlike all other plushies, so this one really fits well amongst 8-inch characters. Unless you're a 16-inch collector or enjoy how absurdly large the original is, you cannot go wrong here, especially for only $40. Now that we've covered the actual items themselves, I'm sure other plush geeks will want to see their tags. The side tags are all new for this release, featuring sprites of the current main 3 flock members, the Angry Birds logo, and strangely a code for the now defunct Angry Birds Explorer. I don't quite understand the reasoning for including that, as I feel as if the tags would benefit from its removal. But who's making the decisions here? It's certainly not me. The back of the tag says Plush Toy, Classic OG Plush, collect them all. Older tags never explicitly stated this information, and I find this to be rather unnecessary. Perhaps it's the wording that I'm not totally in love with, specifically the abbreviation for original. I feel like that's gonna date the plush. Would have rather seen the Commonwealth logo here with the same manufacturing information displayed in the tush tag. Speaking of the tush tags, I'm glad to see a return to the 2nd generation style with the second Angry Birds logo in black on a white tag. The back unfortunately uses the movie font, but is formatted nearly identically to the originals. This is the only part of the entire plush where you can tell Commonwealth was behind these, as the MHB heart is subtly displayed to the right. There's even the HK number and dating information at the bottom, which personally makes me quite happy. J22 means these are made in October of 2022 if you were curious. I commend Mighty Mojo for what they've done here, bringing back these iconic pieces of merchandise in the most ideal way imaginable, having the one and only Commonwealth do it for them. Never did I think we'd see these ever again in any capacity, and I just hope these are successful enough to not only warrant future releases, but a full retail release as well. If they do, Mojo, we need sound chips and retail display boxes. That would really make the $24.99 feel worth it. Of course there's a few things I'd change. Of course there's other characters I'd like to see. And of course I'd like to see some new products in the Commonwealth style. However, this is a promising start. Cheers to Mighty Mojo for generously providing me with these plushies. If you'd like them yourself, be sure to check out their various online shops while supplies last. Links are in the description and in the pinned comment. If you have any comments, questions, or complaints, you can let me know in the comment section below. With that I say, peace out.